An Irish woman endured a life-changing car crash in 2006 when she was 22 years old at the time. She was the passenger in a car that skidded on black ice and collided with a wall. Granny's knees were then propelled into her face due to her feet being propped up on the dashboard. The impact occurred as the airbag inflated at a staggering speed of 200 miles per hour, resulting in very severe facial injuries. Almost every single bone in her face was broken, and she suffered a brain leak, known as CSF leakage. Additionally, she lost two.
What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel, man. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you're brand new to the channel and you guys don't know what we do, we break down scary creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook reels, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Like I said, I want to thank the Seekers, man, who's been tapping in with us, man, subscribing to the channel, hitting that post notification, man, hitting that like button, man. That's how the Seekers, that's how we can grow, that's how we can expand and find more people. So just do those simple things, and we can grow. Let's find this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Seek the truth.
After watching Quiet on Set, I realized that predators like this will purposely get jobs that involve children. So this is Brian Peck, and he worked with Nickelodeon in the early 2000s, and he was an acting and dialogue coach. Well, it turns out that he was essaying Drake Bell at a very young age. Drake was only 15 years old when this was going on, but he actually didn't tell anyone until he revealed everything in this documentary. Brian was somehow able to manipulate Drake and turn him against his father, and then he took that opportunity to get him alone and do disgusting things to him. But eventually in 2003, Drake spoke up and Brian was arrested and charged with SA. Now, my jaw dropped to the floor when I found out that this 43-year-old man was only sentenced to 16 months in jail. And then it gets even worse. After his release, despite him being registered as a sex offender, he still found work in Hollywood and began working on the set of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Now, shortly after Drake spoke out about what happened to him, he started on set with this new show, Drake and Josh. And what I find crazy is that as kids, we're watching these shows and we're being entertained, but we actually have no idea what's going on behind the scenes.
So this guy tried to...
Seekers, man, like I said, but when it comes to that Hollywood scene and stuff, that's things that goes on behind the scene, we truly don't know, man, the true extent of what's happening. Like she says, like, we watching these shows to entertain us, but we don't know the freaking dark history behind them. He only got sentenced to 16 months, and then he just went to freaking Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's just like the cycle continues, Seekers, man. It's people, we gotta be better, bro.
They robbed this small store, but had no idea just how nice the owners would be about it. Basically, in 2022, a young man walked into a small phone shop in England and then tried to make a run for it with 2 iPhones worth over $2,000. Unfortunately for him, though, the store's owner, Afzal Adam, had installed an automatic door lock over COVID to prevent robberies exactly like this one. The minute this thief realized that he was locked in, he was really embarrassed. He began giving excuses like, "My friends outside forced me to do this," trying to convince the owners not to press charges. But to this guy's incredible surprise, Afzal wasn't angry at all and just immediately let him go. On top of that, afterwards, Afzal even posted this footage on social media, inviting the thief back to their store if he needed help. He said that he understood that times were tough, and he wanted to help this young man go down the right path before it was too late. It's unknown if the guy ever did come back, but Afzal credits his Muslim faith for teaching him to be forgiving and understanding.
Hey, man, Seekers, not too many people like that, bro. Like, he tried to freaking rob him, but he just let him go, bro. Like, tried to steal those freaking iPhones, man. I remember there was this video I seen on freaking Twitter where like there was an same exact situation where they had like the locks on the door, but nah, they was ready for him, bro. It's like they were happy somebody tried it, bro. They freaking beat the snot out of him, man. So he got very lucky in that situation, Seekers, bro. People like that are rare.
The Egyptian woman that you just saw in that video, Manar Sami, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for the content she posted on TikTok. But what exactly was she posting on TikTok that got her sent to prison? Well, nothing out of the ordinary. Dancing, lip syncing, and basic innocuous content. But she was arrested in 2020 on charges of, I'm going to read this to you, inciting debauchery, immorality, and stirring up instincts. Yes, she was arrested for immorality. and inciting debauchery with her dancing TikTok videos. Well, Manar, like I said, was eventually sentenced to 3 years in prison. This happened back in 2020 when a number of Egyptian female TikTok influencers were randomly targeted and sentenced to prison time. After being found guilty, she was also ordered to pay 300,000 Egyptian pounds to the government. She did eventually get out of prison though, and she's still active here on TikTok. And over on Instagram too. I just couldn't believe it when I saw that video and saw that content like that got her sentenced to 3 years in prison. It's pretty wild to me.
Seekers, what do you guys think, man? I don't think that was freaking worth a 3-year sentence, man. But you guys know other places has different rules and set in other countries, but that's just raw. They said inciting debauchery and that movement, bro. So it's like, what? And she got sentenced for 3 years for that? And you know, guys know the freaking case we just saw a couple clips ago where somebody did something way worse and got 16 months, but she got 3 years for that, for dancing on TikTok. Doesn't make sense. Edit.
This man won the lottery and then took his own life shortly after. In June 1997, Billy Bob Harrell Jr. became a millionaire overnight after winning the 31 million Texas Lotto jackpot.
Damn.
Billy Jr.'s life before winning was full of financial struggle, and him, his wife, and their 3 children battled every single day to make ends meet. So the lottery win initially changed his family's life. Billy quit his job, took a family trip to Hawaii, and generously donated to his church and helped friends and family. However, his newfound wealth led to a lot of old friends and acquaintances asking him for financial assistance on almost a daily basis. This forced him to change his phone number. Over the course of the next year, his life began to slowly unravel, leading to him separating from his wife. On May 22nd, 1999, just shy of the 2-year anniversary of his big win, Billy Bob Harrell Jr. tragically ended his own life. Billy had expressed his unhappiness to a financial advisor shortly before his passing, telling them, "Winning the lottery is the worst thing that ever happened to me."
This is the terrifying image of a woman cowering on her...
Seekers, man. Like, people truly say how sometimes, like, money, like, even if you have all the money in the world, you can truly be miserable. And that was a freaking case we saw right there. He said winning the lottery was the worst day of his life because, like he said, all those people just come out the woodwork, just start asking for money. People probably haven't seen in years, and you're just trying to be helpful, but it's just going to be a continuous cycle. Like, damn, he want all that money, and he still, like I said, he didn't even want it. He didn't even care. Crazy Seekers.
Her rooftop, trying to escape an intruder when he pops up behind her. What happened to this woman is like something off a horror film. It was September 2014, and Melora Rivera was at her home in California. Unfortunately for her, though, she was not home alone on the day in question, although she was initially unaware of this. Melora worked as an actress and actually had a part in the Whitney Houston film Sparkle. She was in her bed when she noticed somebody in her property. He had apparently broken a panel to reach inside and unlock one of the doors. Terrified, the woman tried to escape onto the roof to alert authorities. She managed to balance up on the roof and ring 911 before, terrifyingly, he jumped up and appeared behind her. This image was captured by a passerby. Thankfully, police arrived on the scene and the man was arrested. He was identified as 29-year-old Christian Hicks. He was swiftly arrested and the woman was rescued off the roof by the fire brigade.
People are crazy.
Whatever you do, never go searching for this video. These 5 friends were forced to kill each other by the Mexican cartel. These 5 young, aged from 19 to 22, were looking for some sort of employment, and they were promised a high-paying job at a call center. But when the alleged contact was taking them to meet the people for the job, it actually turned out to be a whole scheme to recruit them to the Mexican cartel. And when all 5 of these boys said they didn't want to join, the cartel then said okay and tied them up, taped their mouth and took a picture, and then recorded one of the friends killing all the other 4 friends. And after that, they put the 5th one, who just killed all of his friends, into a car and set it on fire. I am telling you right now, do not go searching for this video because you will find it. And trust me, you do not want to see something like this. This case is absolutely horrific, and the fact that this happens way more often than we think is just extremely scary and disturbing. It's just sad that these young men were just trying to get a job and make some money for themselves, but instead it turned into a living nightmare. Rest in peace, these 5 young men.
Crazy Seekers. You heard that story before, but it never gets easy once you hear it, bro. Who's that guy who freaking set them up? That's actually the real question we need to be asking Seekers.
This is the moment infamous killer Jaime Osuna appeared in court, charged with his second murder after killing his cellmate in a gruesome attack. Sometime in the early hours of March 9th, Jaime Osuna methodically tortured and killed Luis Romero at Corcoran State Prison. Osuna is accused of using a makeshift knife to decapitate and dissect Romero, removing an eye, a finger, and a portion of the man's lung, as well as cutting his spine and removing his eyes. It is believed that the victim was conscious for a portion of the crime. New reports are raising questions about how prison guards missed the hours-long sadistic torture and beheading. Osuna was originally jailed back in 2011 for the brutal murder of Yvette Pina in a motel. He had this to say.
I did sadistically, premeditatedly, deliberately tortured and murdered Yvette Pena. I don't have no sympathy. I'm sadistic. I really don't care. I'll do it and I'll do it again over and over and over.
No freaking one more Seeker. One of the most dangerous people that we want to come across. Whoa. Didn't she get back together with him, right? She broke up recently, didn't she break up with her, no, divorce her husband she was with and went back to her ex? So, they're back together. I think, right? But you guys living at home, Seekers? Out the room now? I think they made some upgrades to it.
Music star Morgan Wallen has been arrested. Officials say the country music star was charged with 3 felonies early this morning. The incident occurred at Eric Church's new honky tonk on Broadway in Nashville. According to the official report, authorities say they were standing in front of Chief's Bar on Broadway Sunday night when a chair fell from above. Luckily, it did not hit anyone, but it hit the ground just feet away from where they were standing. Following the incident, staff members at Chief's told authorities that Wallen was responsible for throwing the chair. They said the chair came from the 6th floor of the building. They were then able to view video which showed Wallen, quote, lunging and throwing an object over the roof. According to the report, it also stated that witnesses told officers he laughed afterwards. Wallen was arrested on 3 counts of reckless endangerment for the 2 officers who were in the vicinity and the danger of the public that he caused. In addition to that, he was also charged with disorderly conduct. He had a bond that was set at $15,000. His next court date is May 3rd, and he is already expected to be in Nashville on that date. He has a tour coming to the Nissan Stadium on May 2nd and 3rd. His attorney has since released a statement. It says, quote, at 10:53 p.m. Sunday evening, Morgan Wallen was arrested in downtown Nashville for reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct. He is cooperating fully with authorities. Since the incident, Morgan's bonded out. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
This recklessly and freaking dangerous people, bro. Like, he threw a chair over the edge and was laughing, Seekers? You don't do that, man. It's lucky it could have been way worse. You could have actually hurt somebody. Next charges would have been even worse.
This is why you should never put your feet up on the dashboard of a car. Granny Keeley, an Irish woman, endured a life-changing car crash in 2006 when she was 22 years old at the time. She was the passenger in a car that skidded on black ice and collided with a wall. Granny's knees were then propelled into her face due to her feet being propped up on the dashboard. The impact occurred as the airbag inflated at a staggering speed of 200 miles per hour, resulting in very severe facial injuries. Almost every single bone in her face was broken, and she suffered a brain leak, known as CSF leakage. Additionally, she lost 2 teeth in the traumatic accident. Following the crash, Granine underwent extensive medical procedures. Unfortunately, due to an infection, doctors had to remove her forehead, leaving her without one for 2 years. However, in 2009, surgeons managed to reconstruct her face by fitting her with a ceramic forehead. Granine humorously joked that her new forehead was made in Italy and playfully referred to it as a designer piece. This is Granine today, and she is now 38 years old, and it looks like she didn't even go through this awful experience. But sadly, she still suffers from long-lasting effects from the injury. She said, "I constantly lose my words while in the middle of a conversation. This can happen to me about 20 times a day." She also said, "I get headaches when too many people are talking around, and I sometimes find it difficult to stay focused." So if you learn anything from this video, never ever put your feet on the dashboard of a car that you're in. Because you never know, this can happen to you.
I've done that freaking a fair amount of time, Seekers, man, so that's obviously JJ, I won't be doing that anymore, bro. You saw freaking before and after pictures, she looked like a completely, like I said, different person. Looked like she didn't even go through that freaking accident, Seekers. You never know, man. The head is said that freaking her like knees, I guess they said, went to her head at 200 miles per hour. That's what changed it, bro. Damn. You guys know I be putting my feet on the dashboard sometimes, so it's just like you never know, bro, what could happen to you, Seekers. Always gotta be aware.
Freak used the username KiwiPedo online and attempted to buy a child from the dark web. Oh yeah, did I mention he's a free man walking out in society right now? Let's talk about this. This is Aaron Hutton from New Zealand. In the year 2014, New Zealand police started tracking an account that went by KiwiPedo on the dark web. And the chats that this user was having with undercover police were disturbing. Aaron had responded to an ad that an undercover officer posted offering a Chinese child for sale for $10,000. Aaron reached out and it seemed like he was deadly serious. During his conversations with the undercover officer, Aaron referenced Joseph Fritzl, the man who imprisoned his own daughter for 24 years in Austria, repeatedly assaulted her and even had children with her. Aaron referred to Joseph as his hero. And when the undercover officer asked Aaron if having a random Chinese child in his home would raise any suspicion, Aaron, chatting as KiwiPedo, responded, "It's called a basement." So eventually Aaron started telling the undercover officer that he would pay up to $15,000 in cash or Bitcoin for a child under 7. And soon afterwards, the authorities were able to pinpoint where his chats were coming from, his workplace, and Aaron was then arrested and his workplace and house were searched. Now, investigators actually found 417 CP or CSAM images and videos on Aaron's devices, which, in my opinion, is enough to be a life sentence. But after all was said and done, after this man tried to purchase a child under 7 years old on the dark web, after he was found to be in possession of hundreds of CP and CSAM images and videos, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. And to add insult to injury, his 5-year sentence was thrown out, and he was resentenced to only 3 years in prison. This happened a few years ago, so that means that he's back out in society right now. Yes, Aaron has already been released. He's already served his full sentence for all of that. And it truly just makes me sick to my stomach that people like this keep getting away with these crimes time and time again. When you're in possession of hundreds of CP or CSAM images, that should be treated as you victimizing hundreds of children. But the government doesn't see it that way for some reason. I don't understand why. And yeah, he's back out. If you want to hear more true crime stories, be sure to listen to my wife and I's podcast, Murder in America, available on all streaming platforms.
See, because what do you guys think about that case, man? That's something, like I said, it's just freaking sad. He was trying to freaking get that kid. He had all that in his possession, and he only got 5 years and they got thrown out to 3. Like, we going through the government environment when they be sentencing these people, they know what they like are trying to do, right? And they just freaking give them like the least amount of freaking time. I don't get it, Seekers. We're gonna have to dig deep into that one. Edit.
A 15-year-old boy has been stabbed to death in West Bromwich. Isaac Brown was attacked near the New Square shopping centre in the town centre just after 9:15 p.m. on Sunday. Paramedics pronounced him dead shortly after arriving at the scene, which remains cordoned off for forensic searches. In a tribute, the victim's family described him as wonderful, loving, kind and happy. They remembered him as fun and mischievous, always smiling and always there to help. They added, "We are unable to understand what has happened," the family said in a statement issued through West Midlands Police. "We just want him back." West Midlands Police have confirmed a 17-year-old boy has been arrested yesterday on suspicion of murder. He remains in custody and is being questioned. Police also confirmed they were reviewing CCTV footage from the area and are appealing for witnesses to come forward. A detective inspector from the Force's Homicide Unit added, "Our thoughts remain with the friends and family of Isaac, and we have specially trained officers in place to support them. We hope the arrest provides some reassurance to the community as we understand the concern the tragic incident has caused to those living, working, and visiting the town centre."
The fact that this man who worked with kids for so many years was good friends with John Wayne Gacy, one of the most disturbing serial killers, is insane. And if you don't already know, John Wayne Gacy was also known as the Killer Clown, but in the 1970s, he arred and murdered over 30 young men and teenage boys, and he actually buried a lot of them under his house. So while John was in prison, him and Brian became pen pals, and Brian actually kept all his letters from John in his nightstand. John also drew this clown painting for Brian, and in the back he wrote, "To Brian, I hope you enjoyed the painting. Best wishes, your friend John Wayne Gacy." This was revealed for the first time in the documentary Quiet on Set.
I noticed a painting in the room that stuck out to me because it had nothing to do with Planet of the Apes. It was of a birthday clown holding balloons. And Brian got very excited when I asked him about it. He flipped the thing around, and on the back it said, "To Brian, I hope you enjoy the painting. Best wishes, your friend, John Wayne Gacy." It was a self-portrait of a serial killer, John Wayne Gacy. At this point, I'm like 14. I didn't know like the details, but I knew like this guy's a serial killer who like killed a lot of young men and boys. My instinct was like, everyone has to see this. And so like all the parents and the kids come into the room, and then Brian presents the painting again. And Brian actually developed a pen pal relationship with John. He kept like this pile of letters and photos from John Wayne Gacy in his nightstand next to his bed. And he like pulls them out and starts showing them to me. Your instinct is to give someone the benefit of the doubt. If you've known them for that long, even in the face of like this really bad sign. It was one of those like classic failures of group psychology. This man who was like trusted as basically a supervisor of kids is not safe.
Something very strange and shady is
like, bro, he was a freaking pen pals with a damn person of that magnitude. That should already be red flags already, Seeker. So how was he even allowed on that freaking set, man? And like he was showing, like he showed everybody else. It wasn't like he just showed them. It was like he showed all the kids and stuff like that. But I guess they were so young they didn't truly understand, like he said, when friends or somebody try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I ain't gonna lie, man. If somebody tells me they pen pals with a freaking person like that, I'm gonna have looking at them like, come again? Like, what? Seekers, man. Tell me what you guys do in that situation. I'm telling you, man, that's like the Hollywood crowd, bro. There's some dark things, man, behind it.
happening in South Australia because 5 Vietnamese exchange students, all from the same school, have mysteriously disappeared, and not even at the same time, over the course of a month. This is 17-year-old Sunny Nguyen, who's the 5th and most recent teenager to disappear when she disappeared on Monday, January 8th. For the last 6 months, Sunny has been living with her host family of the Zerbasses, who live in South Clinton in Adelaide, Australia. On the evening of Monday, January 8th, Sunny has dinner with her host family, and then roughly around 11 p.m. that same night, her host mother realizes that Sunny is not in her home, tries to call her, realizes that her phone has been turned off, and then also immediately notices that all of her social media has been deleted. And when they realize that she's not just in the house somewhere, they call the police at 11:30 p.m. Sunny, who lives at the Zerbasses with 2 other foreign exchange students and her best friend, was supposed to start her 11th year at Hamilton Secondary College. Sunny has 3 years left on her student visa and was seemingly having a great time with the people that she lived with, as evidenced by this video where they were singing along to one of her favorite artists, Taylor Swift.
She was happy.
There seems to be no signs of break-in at the home, and Sunny's belongings were mostly all there except for 1 out of the 5 bags that contained her belongings. She left almost all of her clothes with the exception of taking 2 pairs of shoes, some change of clothes, her laptop, and her passport. And this is the part that makes her host family really worried, but she left all of her medicine that she needs daily. Her friends at school have not had any contact with her since her phone and her social media was deactivated, and the police are having a hard time getting in touch with her family in Vietnam. Sunny also has access to her own bank account with money in it, but fortunately or unfortunately, her host family doesn't have access to it to know whether or not there were any recent transactions. And as stated before, Sunny was one of 5 foreign exchange students, the others of whom have not been named, that have disappeared since early December. And in this one article, they state that 1 of the 5 girls have been found. And even though it seems that only the female foreign exchange students disappeared and they all came from the same area and all went to the same school, the police do not believe that they're linked. And even though the police are stating that they have evidence to believe that most of the teens traveled out of state, they don't believe that any of them are in immediate danger. I can't tell which part is being the most suspicious, but something about this is definitely off.
It is. How you have like all those freaking, like I said, kids that's been, you know, think there's no link, like no link once at all. There definitely has to be a link, man. And I guess they know they're traveling out of state, but they said they're not in immediate danger, so they're not gonna do anything about it. They're just gonna let them do it, Seekers, man. I'm telling you, Seekers. The more I watch these freaking cases with you guys, the more it just blows my mind, man. Hopefully you guys learned something today. I know I definitely did. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a real one, Seekers, man. You're seeking the truth, so I definitely appreciate your support. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Also hit that post notification bell so you guys can get notified when I drop these videos for you guys, man. Like I said, guys, I really appreciate the support, man. I love doing what I do, man. Like I said, I think sometimes maybe towards the end of the month I might try to switch it up, you know. Like I said, we watch YouTube videos, just not TikToks, man. I want to just kind of have like a broader category for you guys. Man, we seek the truth, man. There's just a lot of freaking videos, man, we can check out together. So I definitely want to do that with you guys. You guys can catch in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, Seekers. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel, man. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new here, man, if you guys don't know what we do, we break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos to IG videos, Facebook videos, anything weird, usual, unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just so, like I said, when I thank the Seekers who's been tapping in with us, man, subbing up to the channel, really appreciate that, man. Like I said, we seek the truth. That's how you guys find us, man. In order for the Seekers to grow, I need you guys to subscribe, hit that like button, and also hit that post notification bell. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
The girl was killed and had all of her teeth removed by a cartel member while on vacation in Mexico. The body of 23-year-old Lisbeth Flores was found dead in the Mexican town of Matamoros. The sad thing is, Lisbeth was a mother of 2 and was also visiting Mexico for vacation. On August 9th, 2023, Lisbeth told her mother that she would be crossing the border into Matamoros to visit her boyfriend. Lisbeth assured her mother that she would return later that evening. This wasn't her first time crossing the border, but for some reason, her decision to do it did not sit right with her mother at all. Maybe it was her instincts telling her something bad was going to happen. But regardless, she let Lisbeth go. However, when Lisbeth failed to return home that night, her mother knew something was wrong. She filed a missing persons report immediately the next morning. But tragically, the day after filing, Mexican officials discovered Lisbeth's lifeless body abandoned on a field in Matamoros. And the condition of her remains were absolutely horrific. She had been brutally assaulted and all of her teeth were removed from her mouth before she died. And the fatal injury seemed to be from a powerful blow to the head using this large rock that was discovered at the scene. Some say it was robbery, others say it was sexual assault, but no one really knows what happened exactly between Lisbeth and her killer. The good thing is the killer was arrested. Braulio Martinez was caught at his residence in connection with the murder, and after pleading no contest, he was sentenced to 14 years in prison, which many people thought wasn't a long enough sentence. This is just so sad, and due to the violence in this area, Lisbeth's mother is now without a child, and her own 2 kids are left without a mother. But luckily, local businesses stepped up by contributing funds to her children's education. As this kind gesture definitely helped, nothing will bring back their mother, Lisbeth Flores. May she rest in peace.
So how, like I said, how her mom felt like something was off, Seekers. I'm telling you, it's like parents that got that like sixth sense, man. When it comes to the kids, they can just sense when something is off or something is weird. Trust that feeling, man.
Here's the scoop on the top family murders. This family, no one could find them around December of 2019. Family members were like asking law enforcement to do a wellness check. Law enforcement showed up, knocked on the door, they didn't answer, and so they just left. Until weeks later when they come serve a warrant on this dude for fraud in his medical practice. When they show up, they find out dude has been living in his house with his entire family murdered and all sleeping together in one room. They were drugged with Benadryl, then stabbed. His wife, 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and 4-year-old. When he's first arrested, dude confesses. I don't know if he gave a reason. I've heard stories where he's like, I totally snapped and came to at the police department, but he confessed at one point. But fast forward a year, and now this slimy dude is saying that his wife drugged and killed her kids, drugged and killed herself, and now he's awaiting trial.
I'm trying to backtrack. No secrets. People, man, they sure know most of their accents, bro. You've seen this story, Seekers. She covered it quite a few times. I don't know the backstory on that tragic story. Many turn seekers. She covered this like quite a few times. We've been down this rabbit hole before. Tragic story. We're 5 months ago. Why don't let me know this, Seekers? What the hell? Alternate reality? Whatever that? That's it. If we can ask, bro, I'll probably feel if he can pissed off, bro. What? Seekers, man. We've seen many freaking Teletubby theories, but that one's a new one that just got freaking brought up to us. What do you guys think, man? Especially, you know, about they said the sun and the vacuum cleaner, how they were signs for something else, and we missed it as kids. I think, yeah, watched that one as a kid maybe a couple of times. Obviously, man, I didn't get the message or symbolism behind them. But now, I'm older, bro. Like I said, these videos expand my mind, Seekers. I didn't even think about it like that, man. Teletubbies. That's some timing, bro.
To the photo
smiling
that
at
you're
us.
about to see. This was captured on the Ring doorbell of Jessica Gerald on a 2014 morning around 3 a.m. It is the only shot that we have of the man who broke into her home. For context, this is a small town right outside of Omaha, Nebraska. Like, bad things don't happen here, or so everyone thought. Unprovoked and completely without motive, the man was seen on camera around 3, and then he uses a glass scoring tool where he very quietly makes a hole in the window and then enters through the living room. So the following morning, Jessica Gerald, she doesn't go into work, so her family is contacted, and they go to her home, where she is found without her head or her tongue. Media investigation was launched where the footage was eventually recovered. The man seen here had also posed her body without the head sitting up at her kitchen table.
Is that a freaking smile? That smile was like freaking, looked like pure evil, Seekers. Did that damn freaking horrific act. And that family had to go through that, Seekers, man. I'm telling you, bro, this world that we live in, man, it's crazy. It had not, like I said, happened in a small town. You wouldn't think of it happening in a town like that. Like I said, it's like freaking evil around every corner. You never know where it can end up, Seekers. Ooh, that smile was freaking bone chilling, man.
Here are some ideas that I have for saw traps that I can't believe we haven't seen yet in any of the 10 movies. Why are we not throwing anyone into a wood chipper? I cannot believe we live in a world where the Halloween franchise threw someone into a wood chipper before Saw did. Like, you could have somebody conveyor belt style getting pushed into it. Maybe they have to make a confession before they get thrown in there. On a similar note, why have we never had a saw trap where somebody faints at the sight of their own blood and is unable to complete their trap because of it? I think this is a unique and fun concept, and I would love to see what Jigsaw would do in this situation. Would they pull them out and try again with a different test, or just let them have it? Bear with me. Some sort of cannibal saw trap. This would have to be a two-person trap, and I'm assuming the meat that they would be using would be from somebody who failed a previous test. That way it's Jigsaw's standard of ethical cannibalism. But I don't know, the idea of someone being forced to eat someone else to show that they like appreciate their life or their body, their nutrients or something, I don't know, and then they get to escape. I don't know, I think it's a fun idea, or maybe I'm just enjoying my Hannibal rewatch way too much. I would love to see an endurance-based saw trap where it's something simple like walking on a treadmill or doing a dance, but they have to go for a very extremely long amount of time or else they die. This is definitely inspired by The Long Walk, where these boys have to walk at like 4 miles per hour for several days or else they get shot. I'm not saying it has to last days, but I don't know, quite a few hours. I think it would be an interesting idea.
A child's death was thought to...
Saw trap ideas, man. Freaking weird and chilly, man. Who was it? She thought of those chops herself? I don't know, man. Trying to put us up in the damn movie, that's something I don't even want to see, Seafish. Those were some freaking devious traps she was talking about.
To be an accident until shocking text messages were revealed. It was the 15th of June 2023. Samantha Wishman was 32 years old, living in Wisconsin with her boyfriend and his 3-year-old son. Police were called to a home in Marinette on the day in question by Samantha. She reported that the 3-year-old had fallen down the stairs the night before. When officers arrived at the property, the little boy was not breathing. According to police, the father of the child seemed really frantic and wanted to get him to hospital straight away. Samantha, however, was reportedly much more calm and seemed to be trying to get the other children under control. The boy tragically passed away after being rushed to hospital. Now, initially the child's death was classed as an accident, but that's when everything started to change. Investigators determined that the death was not an accident as a result of a fall. This was after the autopsy showed that the child had broken ribs, a punctured lung, concussion and bruising on his head and body. It was determined that he died from blunt force trauma. Investigators seized Samantha's phone as part of the investigation, and what they found was truly chilling. She allegedly sent disturbing text messages to the child's dad stating, "I'm ready to hurt these mother bleep kids. Nobody bleep understands. I can't breathe. This is so much harder now that I'm having more problems breathing. These mother bleep won't bleep. Stop. I'm ready to lose my bleep. I can't breathe. I can't yell, so I'm just a joke around here." An expert claimed that the injuries on the boy's body were no accident. Samantha is now facing charges of first-degree reckless homicide and neglecting a child.
She was literally sending messages to the dad saying what she was going to do. Literally in 4K secrets. Literally. What was it?
Things that bother you, they never bother me. I feel happy and fine. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time. Haven't got a lot, I don't need a lot. Coffee's only a dime. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
I wonder, do those homes get demolished after you know what they did?
The conspiracy theories around the eclipse on Monday are getting so wild, ranging from the end of the world to a mass human sacrifice event to declaration of martial law to usher in a new world order, and even, and I'm not kidding, Jesus' return. So let's just dive into some of them. The first theory that I've seen a bunch of is the solar eclipse will begin a mass human sacrifice event. Now, a post on Reddit as well as multiple videos online say that the line from the solar eclipse of 2017 and the line from the upcoming one on April the 8th creates an X very close to the New Madrid fault line. The theory goes on to say that they, whoever they are, will use a man-made device to trigger that fault line, causing a massive earthquake, which will then be blamed on the eclipse to make it look completely natural. Number 2. Operation Balloon. This theory claims that the government, using the eclipse blackout as cover, will deploy balloons filled with poisonous gas. I mean, nighttime is a thing. every night. Number 3, the eclipse will usher in 3 days of complete darkness. This video, which somehow got 371,000 likes on TikTok, claims that the Bible's prophecy of 3 days of darkness before Jesus' return could happen on Monday. So maybe just chuck that in your schedule for around Wednesday. Number 4, the USA will be destroyed if they don't change their evil ways. The path of the eclipse goes through 2 towns called Nineveh, and in the Bible, Jonah was sent by God to tell the town of Nineveh to change their ways and repent, or they will be destroyed. And what links this to Monday is that an eclipse took place around when Jonah arrived in Nineveh. Number 5, the government is preparing for something, because the National Guard and hazmat teams were never activated for a solar eclipse before 2024. Now, the fact that local governments have issued in these measures is true, but only to manage the influx of crowds and people. And not only that, but similar preparations have been issued before. In the 2017 solar eclipse, the National Guard for Oregon was deployed. Now, it kind of goes without saying, but there's no actual evidence to support any of these theories. Only coincidences which people are inserting meaning into. But hey, April the 8th is fast approaching, so I guess we'll just wait and see.
I remember when that eclipse happened, Seekers, man. Everybody was outside. I seen some people just standing out there looking up. It was a weird time, man. You know, they had, if you can put on the glasses to see, they said don't directly look up. People talk about how they're gonna look up, they was gonna burn their eyes, man. So there was just a lot of people out on the street, man. But those theory seekers, what do you guys think? Should we check them out, or should we just leave it at that? It was just a regular eclipse, nothing else. There was no other messages behind it. What do you guys think?
It stops right there. There's a little gap there because it hit my ribs, but
okay. Thank you. Now, I'm going to show, don't turn the screen on yet, please. It's going to be frame 3111, and I don't want to show it gratuitously, but I want the jury to see it. So if we could just turn it on for a second, turn it off. Yes.
What the hell? They're just showing on the screen that we can't even see. It's that bad.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Nelson?
His face, you can tell.
Mr. Martin, my name's Aaron Nelson. I want to ask you some questions, okay? Yeah. I understand watching the video and seeing the pictures is upsetting to you. Is that fair?
yes.
I'm going to try to do it without the photos, but if you need to see one, you don't need to display it. Just let me know if you need something to refresh your memory. I'm happy to show you on my computer or some other way. I want to do this as easy as we can. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask about some of the things that you initially...
An important new feature for those situations where you want to let a loved one know you made it back home safely. Check-in. Whether you're walking home after dark or going for an early morning run, you can start check-in with a family member or friend to let them know when you get home safely. As soon as you arrive, check-in automatically detects that you're home and lets your friend know. But if something unexpected were to happen while you're on your way, it can recognize that you're not making progress towards your destination and check in with you. And if you don't respond, it can automatically share useful information such as your current location and the route you took. And they'll also be able to see your battery level and cell service status so they know if you might be able to take their call. And any information shared with your friend is end-to-end encrypted. So that's check-in, an easy way to feel reassured that your loved ones have your back.
Seekers, what do you guys think about that check-in secret feature that Apple's trying to implement? Is that like, just, a way for people to check in with us, man, our loved ones and friends, to make sure we're safe, or could that be another way of them just tracking us? Trying to have our location, knowing where we're at, Seekers. That's what I kind of got the vibe of. That's the vibe I kind of got. the guy would track your location, so I'm just like, I need even more, I guess, ways for them to track us. And they said the information encrypted. Anybody can get that type of information.
Florida man gets life for biting, gouging officer's eye, and streaming the entire attack on Facebook. This is 29-year-old William McClish, who will now spend his life behind bars for assaulting these two officers back in 2021 with the intent to surprise and kill them. And of course, this happened in Orlando, Florida. He was convicted yesterday, April 3rd, for a number of things: attempted first-degree murder, aggravated assault, battery on an officer, resisting an officer with violence. Just keeps adding up, and on top of that, he was streaming this on Facebook. This happened in September of 2021. He propped his phone up on the trash can and started streaming on North Magnolia and East Washington Street. As soon as the streaming happened, the two officers were in frame. McClish decided to slap one of them on the head with a brick. And of course, as the title suggests, he bit one of them and gouged one of the eyes. He also snatched one of the officers' radios off of his uniform to prevent him from calling for help. Now, he represented himself during the trial, and all he said was, "I didn't do it, the evidence was tampered with." However, obviously, he streamed this whole thing live, so it wasn't. He kind of incriminated himself with that. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Man, Florida's it's a dangerous place. I didn't even think about it. Like, what the heck? Like, he streamed that, Seekers. And he represented himself in court, saying the evidence was tampered with. Like, he literally caught him in 4K, man. He literally did it to himself. These Florida freaking cases be getting weirder and weirder with each video, Seekers. I didn't even notice it until now.
Cemetery water and killed hundreds of people. Hi guys, I'm on my way to the office and it's absolutely freezing, but I wanted to show you the water pump that started an epidemic. This is Aldgate Pump, the symbolic start of the East End, where the last wolf in London was killed, and a place immortalized in Sherlock Holmes and Dickens. But most people pass by every single day and have no idea that it killed hundreds of people. The pump as it is now was built in 1876, but the well water below is ancient, and look how cute it is on the August map. It has been a trusted watering hole for Londoners likely since the Romans, but in 1860 the water was noted as tasting unusually bright, sparkling, and cool, with an agreeable taste. That agreeable taste was because the water had an unusually high calcium content. Well, why was the water so full of calcium? Well, because the pump's water came all the way from Hampstead in North London and flowed down to the pump in East London, but not before passing through Hampstead's newly constructed cemetery, which, if you've been paying attention, we visited on our little field trip to Hampstead over the summer. The water passed through the cemetery, through the decaying bodies, collecting bacteria, germs, and that sweet, sweet calcium straight from the bone. Soon, organic matter from North London was being served up to the unsuspecting East Enders, and they started dying. In fact, hundreds died in what became known as the Aldgate Pump epidemic. Reports showed the water contained 5 times the normal quantity of solids. Personally, I would say any amount of solids is a red flag, but despite this, some people carried on drinking it anyway, until finally the pump was shut down. But hundreds of people died horrific deaths after drinking cadaver kombucha, and I will never forget that. And to be honest, this isn't even the worst water pump epidemic in London. I will link a video about the Broad Street pump below, which gave cholera to the entirety of Soho.
All these freaking pump problems in London, I never knew about, Seekers. Piece of history, man, I just learned today. Like, what the heck? Well, she said pass under the cemetery. I already knew what was gonna happen, Seekers. Like, all that water just freaking flowing through under the cemetery, and it got it and contaminated the supply. They said there was solids in it too, but they still took the chance to drink. I'm like, no, Seekers. Something I can't do.
Oklahoma woman sentenced for shooting her 3 teen children in the head while they were sleeping. 43-year-old Amy Hall will now spend life in prison. 2 of the children died and 1 was severely injured. On March 29th, about a week ago, she was finally convicted to life in prison and 240 months for attempted murder. She pled guilty to these charges back in November of 2022, but her trial is finally finishing up here. This whole ordeal transpired on November 1st of 2018. She went into her 18-year-old son's room, shot him in the head, then her 16-year-old daughter, then her 14-year-old daughter. The 14-year-old daughter survived her injuries, but the other 2 did not. The 14-year-old was able to exit the bathroom and then retrieve the gun from her mother. I guess her mother calmed down or something. And then a car chase ensued. She reached speeds up to 110 miles an hour away from the police. This happened in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Her reasoning for the murder is because she wanted to protect her kids from her husband, who she claimed was abusive. The father, however, claimed that Amy Hall was psychologically abusive and was a danger to them and the kids. What a wild story. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Tragic story, seekers. Thoughts down below. Hey, it's down a whole damn line.
You guys, this is so horrible. This mother went into her teenagers' bedrooms while they slept and pew-pewed them in the head. Her name's Amy Leanne Hall. She's from Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I might have said that wrong. So first she went into her 18-year-old son Kaysen's bedroom and did him. And then she went into the bedroom where both of her daughters slept. They were 14 and 16, and she did the same to them. Now this one right here is the 16-year-old. Her name is Chloe. She was in the ICU on life support for 4 days, but then she ended up coming off. The 14-year-old survived because the bullet just grazed by her head and her neck, and she was actually able to escape into the bathroom and then convince her mom to hand over the weapon. Police were called out to the scene that morning around 6:30 a.m. by Kaysen's friend, who was staying the night and was sleeping in the same room as him. According to the reports, after she did it, she took off. There was a 4-mile-long high-speed chase where she was going 110 miles an hour. But they were finally able to get her into custody. She originally told police that she didn't even realize what she had done. But then she told them that she was protecting her kids from her estranged husband, who she claimed was really abusive. She said she thought she was saving them. Apparently, they had been in a really bitter custody battle for almost 2 years. She also told police that the plan was to unalive the 3 kids and then herself, but missing the 14-year-old interfered with all of that. Now, this all happened on November 1st, 2018. She pleaded guilty on November 28th, 2022. Apparently, sometime in between those years, she attempted to take her own life while in jail. So that caused things to get delayed. She just received her sentence on Monday for life in prison for the 2 counts of murder, plus an additional 240 months in prison for the attempted murder of her 14-year-old Nicole. I'll never understand why parents go through custody battles and do that to their kids. And I can't imagine how traumatic that must have been for Kaysen's friend.
This is one of the...
Like, I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know his friend was in the room. Sometimes I put you on and the friend seekers. Like, yeah, I've noticed it when it came to these cases, like whenever there's a custody battle involved, like one of the parents always try to take the kids away from the other parents just to like prove a point or something. I'm like, do you understand it's your kids as well? Like, when you do that, you're not only hurting the other parents, you're hurting yourself in the process. I don't think that goes to the head seekers when they think about doing those type of things.
The worst cases in human history. This is the murder of Christine Silawan. She was from the Philippines and was a volunteer in church, and she used the church every day from 4 to 6 p.m. On the day of her murder, she went to church as per her schedule, but she didn't come home after that. Her parents then started to worry, and they began searching for her with their neighbors. And what they found is absolutely horrid. They found her body in a farm where half her face was sliced like a piece of pizza, and her face was literally skinned down to her skull. Also, her brain was completely destroyed by acid. The police then started investigating, and they checked the cameras and found out that she was with a guy. The people started protesting about this case, and the case was then given to special officers. They had a lot of pressure on this. A week before this happened, she broke up with her boyfriend, so the police took him into custody. And he was proving that he was at home all day when she was murdered, but officers were completely tired of this case, and they then sentenced him as the murderer. But after a few months, a thief was caught in a store where he confessed that he murdered and raped Christine. He said he started talking to her on Facebook with a fake account and was using fake photos of another guy that was pretty good looking. Christine fell for the guy, and she assumed that he was about 20 years old, and they started texting daily. One day, they both decided to meet up at 6 p.m. near the church she went to. But upon arriving, Christine noticed that this was not the guy she was talking to, and he was around 40-ish years old. She then refused to talk to him and tried to go back, but he held her hands extremely forcefully. He then took her far away from town and raped her repeatedly and put iron rods inside her personal organs. He then cut her face in half and then skinned her whole head down to the skull. And to make it even worse, he put acid inside of her head. The autopsy also revealed that her tongue, trachea, esophagus, parts of her neck, and her right ear were missing. The self-proclaimed killer of this case, named Renato Lanis, said that he used barber-type scissors and stabbed her 30 times on different parts of her body and skinned her face. Christine Silouan was only 16 years old, and this case is extremely haunting. There's a picture of her body that was found in the field, but Google did a really good job of not showing it and hiding it. So even if you do go looking for the picture, I don't think you're going to find it. This is one of those cases that after you get done reading it, you just feel some sort of uneasiness. I feel so bad for Christine's family, and I can't imagine finding my daughter in this state. May Christine Silouan rest in peace.
Terrifying facts you never knew. If your immune system ever found out that you have eyeballs, you would go blind. Which means right now your immune system has no clue that you can see. Because if it did, they would attack your eyeballs until you can no longer ever see. This is because your eyeballs have a protein in them called crystalline that doesn't exist anywhere else in your body. So if your immune system found out and checked them out, it would be like, something's wrong here. Studies show that most serial killers are born in November. Today's high school students have the same anxiety levels as insane asylum patients had in the 1950s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, my anxiety might be up there too. There's a disease called fatal familial insomnia, where people suddenly one day lose their ability to fall asleep, which leads them to slowly go insane. They can't distinguish dreams from reality anymore and go into some type of paranoia. It becomes so severe that they eventually die. Those that make it to the final stage and don't die usually end up in a vegetated state, no longer conscious. And it can happen to any one of you. About 3,000 people go missing every year in the United States. The last execution by guillotine was in 1977. This was in France. And also that was the same year the first Star Wars movie came out. You are always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. In 2011, Anatoly Yakovlevich was arrested for having 12 dolls in his apartment. Only problem is, they weren't normal dolls. They were recently deceased little girls that had been dug up and dressed to be put on display. In 2012, a Burger King employee anonymously posted this to 4chan. It said, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." It only took 20 minutes for people to track down the branch that he worked at, and he was fired. You really never know what people are doing to your food. H.H. Holmes was a serial killer who built a torture hotel in the 19th century. He had secret rooms with gas chambers, trap doors, and stairs that led to nowhere. He loved to play with his victims' minds. It was almost like a real-life Saw movie. There's a bridge in Scotland called the Overtoun Bridge, and for some reason, dogs keep jumping off of it at the same spot. Yeah, they just jump to their deaths. Experts can't figure out why either. Some people speculate it's a magnetic field, or maybe a frequency that only they can hear, but others believe it's something supernatural. But whatever is making dogs jump off that bridge to their deaths is still to this day unexplained. Joe Matheny was an infamous serial killer who not only cooked his victims to eat for himself, but also made them into burgers, using their remains. He then sold them to unsuspecting customers from a roadside food stand. We really never know what we eat. I'm cooking all my food myself, because why don't eat over people's house? In 2021, a new homeowner was shocked to find a boarded up wall. When he ripped the boards off the wall, he discovered a hole. In that hole was a doll clutching a note. The note saying that she killed a family who lived there in the 1960s. Be honest, would you move out? In 1978, there was a pilot named Frederick Valentin. Him and his plane disappeared in Australia. His last communication was, "Melbourne, that strange aircraft is hovering above me again." It is hovering and it is not an aircraft. This is a mugshot of William West and William West. Oh, and they're not related at all. But they were both sent to Leavenworth Prison at the exact same time in 1903. And after some confusion, the staff finally figured it out. They were two different people who had the exact same name and looked identical. This was said to be one of the main reasons why we now use fingerprints to identify somebody. There's biotech being developed as we speak that can make prisoners feel they are serving an 1,000-year sentence in a matter of 8 hours. That's horrifying. Imagine thinking you spent 1,000 years somewhere, and then when you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was only a couple hours. Do you know how crazy that is? Anyways, like this video if you want a part 2.
Some crazy information you were saying at the end, Seekers. Especially about the saying how they're speaking two guys, the twins. That's why we use speaking thumbprints in Alma. Like, imagine that coincidence. Just two guys that look like end up in prison, man. And they had to freaking change the whole system because of that. And the biotech they freaking developing, that's scary, man. I tell you, Seekers, man, this technology, bro, we getting out of control. Like, imagine you spending your, like I said, 1,000 years and something. You wake up, it's only been a couple hours. That's damn near, that's like a genjutsu, bro. They trying to put you in, man. That's an anime reference. Seekers, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys stay with me to the end, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I appreciate the support, guys. Like I said, guys, I'm daily upload, man. Freaking April, bro. I haven't missed a day since like March, man. I've been going strong. I really appreciate the support, man. This is something I like to do, man, and I know we can grow our community even bigger and better. So guys, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification button. That's how we can grow the community. Also follow me on my social medias on there as well, so our community can grow. You guys can catch in the next one. I'm out. Peace, Seekers. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel, man. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook videos. Anything weird, usually unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the Seekers, man, for tapping into the channel, subbing up, and hitting that post notification bell. I really appreciate that support, man. That's how we can grow the Seekers, man, by you guys hitting that like button and spreading the videos, man. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Let's seek the truth.
Hear about this YouTuber who was kidnapped in Haiti and held for ransom? On March 14th, Addison Malouf, also known as Your Fellow Arab on YouTube, was kidnapped in Haiti after he traveled there to interview one of the most notorious gang leaders who goes by the name Barbecue. He's pretty much known for traveling to the most dangerous parts of the world and documenting his experiences. But when he arrived to Haiti, he stayed in this empty hotel and planned to drive 6 hours to the city of Port-au-Prince, where the streets are completely ran by gangs. This is the last video he took before he was taken by a gang and was held for a $600,000 ransom.
We leave right now. We'll get there while it's dark. It's about a 6-hour road trip. We'll get there while it's dark, and that place is completely run by gangs.
It's so dangerous to go to Haiti right now, and the fact that this guy went for a YouTube video is pretty crazy. But apparently, he was released yesterday, and then he posted this on his Instagram story saying that he was okay.
His grandmother threw her...
Ooh, Seekers, man. I've been seeing like a couple of those YouTubes, man. Some of those videos, man, they kind of get recommended to me, like, you know, interviewing like the most dangerous gangs and stuff, and they be traveling around the world to do that, man. That takes a different type of freaking bravery to do that, Seekers, man. Because you're literally putting yourself in danger, man. And just for a video, if you think about it, just to get that video up. But here that he's freaking captured, but he got released, so that's the main thing. But I heard some people when that freaking I heard some people have said that it might be staged, Seekers. So do you guys believe that? Do you guys really think he got captured by a Haiti gang, that gang, or was it just staged, you know, for the video? Some people do that. I don't know. We're gonna have to check that out, Seekers.
Her 2-year-old granddaughter because she disliked her son-in-law. Fall of 2010, 50-year-old Carmela de la Rosa lived in Fairfax, Virginia with her husband and her son. She also had a daughter named Kat, and Kat was married to James Ogdog, and they had a daughter who was 2 years old named Angelina. On the night of November 29th, Carmela went with her husband, children, and granddaughter to the largest shopping center in Virginia, which was the Tyson Corner. They all had dinner together, and once they were done, they walked over to this pedestrian bridge that was on the 6th floor, and this connected the shopping center to the parking lot. At that time, Carmela was holding Angelina in her arms. As they were passing through the bridge, everyone was in front of Carmela, and she stopped, leaned over the railing, and threw Angelina 45 meters down. Angelina was then taken to the hospital, but unfortunately died a few hours later. Police ended up interrogating Carmela, and that's when she admitted that she deliberately threw her granddaughter over that bridge. They had asked her why she did this, and she stated that at that moment she had just lost her mind. Carmela then stated that at that moment when she threw her, she thought about her son-in-law, who she deeply hated for getting her daughter pregnant before marriage. In September of 2011, Carmela went to trial, and her lawyer stated that she had mental problems and that she was taking medication for it at that time. The jury found Carmilla guilty of first-degree murder, and she was sentenced to a max sentence of 35 years in prison.
This is currently the most...
Seekers, man. Tell you, man, the things people will do, bro, when they have that freaking anger in their heart is just... It's just mind-blowing, man. She got mad at her son-in-law because of what he did with her daughter before. I guess they got mad in her eyes, and she just decided to say, we're just gonna end it all. Just because he did something that she didn't like, and she just decided to take it to the freaking most extreme level. Seekers, man. That's how I said, Seekers, you gotta be aware of these people, man, around in your lives. You don't know, man, what they'll do, bro, if you piss them off or make them angry. Crazy case, Seekers.
Terrifying video on the dark web. It was published anonymously, so we don't have any more information. But the ending will call everything into question.
What the hell is that? What type of dark magic is this? Just an edit, Seekers. She looking like, what the hell going on? This has to be edit, right, Seekers?
Well, terrible update after a 12-year-old girl and two 13-year-old girls were arrested in Washington, D.C. for the brutal attack of a 64-year-old disabled man in 2023. And I do want to warn you guys that these details are very hard to listen to. According to the Washington Post, the three young girls were allegedly caught on camera carrying out what detectives described as the horrific October 17th, 2023 murder of Reggie Brown. The graphic minute-long cell phone video showed a group of 5 girls chasing Brown into an alley just before 1 a.m. And you guys, this is where the story just is so heartbreaking. As Brown tried to climb up a chain fence, the girls pulled him down and stomped his head into the concrete pavement. And not only that, detectives say they pulled his pants down around his ankles, removed his belt, and then beat him with it. And this story gets even worse. As Brown laid on the ground, the girls became happy. They were laughing and chatting about what happened. One of the girls saying, quote, "He's leaking," referring to Brown bleeding. The 3 girls were arrested on Friday. They were charged with first and second-degree murder in Brown's death. And attorneys for the 3 pleaded not guilty to the charges.
This is insane, Seekers, man. This is freaking, like, freaking young people, bro, doing this, man. What the hell is going on with our world? Pretty sure he's probably just minding his business, and they just decided just to run down and freaking attack him. This is in DC too. I'm just gonna quote, like I said, when they did the act, they was laughing and smiling, gonna say he's leaking. Like, the hell's going through their damn minds, and they be doing this stuff, bro? And there was nobody else around when that was going on. He tried to freaking climb up that fence, knowing his age. He probably tried to do the best he could to get away, but he couldn't, man. Seekers. They're that young, bro. People that young, man. Their whole life is over, man. Just off some dumb stuff because they just decided to attack a random freaking man. And they gotta live with the consequences, Seekers. Tragic case, bro. Doesn't matter if you're young, old, man. People do anything.
Do you guys remember the case of Lacey Fletcher, the woman who melted into her couch? Well, the people responsible for this have been sentenced. But let me remind you guys a little bit about 36-year-old Lacey. In 2022, she was found deceased on her family's couch, and apparently she sat there for 12 years without moving. So how exactly does that happen? Well, Lacey had severe autism and she was nonverbal, so she solely depended on her parents as her caregiver. But after years years of neglect, she weighed less than 100 pounds. She was found covered in maggots at her own waist. And again, this is how the couch looked like when they found Lacey deceased. Lacey's cause of death was acute medical neglect, and ultimately her parents, Sheila and Clay Fletcher, were each sentenced this month to 40 years, but will only be serving 20 years in prison. Now, what's outrageous is that her parents, who went from this to this, testified that their daughter refused any medical attention. How can someone who couldn't communicate and completely relied on them refuse medical attention? A 36-year-old weighing less than 100 pounds. Let that sink in. This tragedy could have been prevented. There is no excuse.
You ever see a legless lizard? Look me dead in the eyes and say, that's a face that says, I'm happy to be on this earth. He's not happy to be here. He didn't ask for this.
Now I get you. I feel you. I do. Legless lizards, terrible way to live. I can give you 3 animals that got screwed even worse. Number 1, the Luna moth. You want to know why? They don't have a mouth. They don't have a matter of fact, the worst part is, it's not even like they're born without one. The caterpillars do, but once they reach their final form, nature just nerfs them for no reason, completely unprovoked, which obviously means they can't eat. All they have is whatever they stored as caterpillars. Once that runs out, so does their free trial to living. Basically, fresh out of the cocoon, they get about a week to date, mate, and procreate before they go from a permanent fast to part of the past, no Ramadan. They also don't have a digestive system, so they don't even get hungry. They just get more and more tired before they eventually get kicked off the mortal coil. Number 2 are hyenas, because that is a female, you can probably see where this is going. They have a pseudo-phallus they have to push pups out of, and just letting you know, it's a jihad for both parties. Apparently, it's like an anti-grape defense, no fruit, so a female can flush out the baby batter of an undesirable. Think of ducks having maize like vajangas. But with hyenas, not only do a good number of cubs suffocate to death while being born, a lot of first-time mothers get torn up so bad they bleed to a flat line. Damn, double homicide. 3 is the Barbarossa for one reason and one reason only. This picture is real. It's a wild pig found in Indonesia with tusks that can grow through its mouth. Sometimes they keep growing and give the struggle swine a DIY lobotomy. Worst part is, it's like pig Parkinson's. By the time the teeth turn on them, they're old enough to have passed off the generational jihad to its children, which means not even evolution can save them. The more you know.
So you know the
Speaking animal facts, bro. Shocking, man. Especially the one about the freaking moth. Like he said, they just have damn near like a free trial. They didn't born without a mouth, can't eat, don't do nothing. He said they only got like a week or something to survive then. That's it. Damn. The more you know, Seekers, man. I told you these videos be expanding my knowledge base, bro.
woman left her 16-month-old daughter alone while she went on a 10-day vacation on the beach and all this fun stuff to come home to her daughter unresponsive, because obviously the baby's been home alone for the last 10 days and her daughter ends up being pronounced dead and the baby died from being dehydrated and malnourished. Well, she got sentenced to life in prison without parole, and she had the nerve to say that her daughter and God forgive her. Like, be for real. I hate when people try to do that shit. Like, no, your baby and God do not forgive you for going on a 10-day long vacation and leaving your baby at home in a playpen. Like, you can say whatever you want to make yourself feel better, but what you did was so horrifically wrong. It's just disgusting. I hate that shit.
My wife just shot me. Please.
Freaking crazy, bro, Seekers. How does she pull out, like she said, she pull off an act like that and just gonna say that her daughter forgives her? Like, no, you went on a 10-day vacation spree and just left your freaking daughter there. Like, a freaking unresponsible parent, look what happened. Now you serve life in prison and you'd say your daughter forgives. I don't think so. Like she said, people like that are freaking dangerous, man. They do a horrific act and like just think they're automatically forgiven. Doesn't work like that.
Okay, where are you shot at?
My arm.
Okay. How old are you?
Dude, stop! 25. I'm an off-duty police officer. I'm locked in the basement. She's shooting through the door. Can you help me?
Okay. Stay on the phone with me. I've got help coming.
She's going to turn the shot. Shot me through the door.
Okay. She shot you through the door?
Yeah. Carrying me out all over the place.
Do you have something, a belt, a shirt, something that you can tie around that, like a tourniquet?
I don't.
Something. Do you have a shirt on? Do you have a pair of pants? Whatever you have, I need you to take it off and tie it tight. Right where you're there, okay? Okay. Sir?
Camera here. Dead silence. These are edit seekers, man. I got caught them out when I see when they just freaking turn black and something chasing after them.
If this doesn't disturb you, I don't know what will. 2 weeks ago, a 15-year-old in Utah contacted the police and claimed that their own parents had been assaulting them for over a year. So the identity of the victims and the perpetrator have been concealed for now, but this is what we know. Apparently, about a year ago, the parents of the victim found that their child had been Snapchatting and engaging with chats with strangers online, and that these chats with strangers had been graphic, if you know what I mean. These two parents then decided that it would be safer if they engaged in these graphic acts with their own daughter instead. This led to a year and a half of abuse by the victim's stepfather, abuse that her mother allegedly joined in on. When the victim's stepfather was arrested, he admitted right away that he had been engaging in these acts with his daughter. The stepfather also admitted to the police that he and his wife went out and bought toys to use on their daughter. It seems as if the victim's mother and father felt like they needed to show their daughter how to use these devices, and so they did. So the suspects are currently being held in jail because they have 4 more children together. This time they are their biological children. And that's the reason why they're being held, because the authorities believe that these two parents may be a significant threat to their own kids. Now, we talk about stuff like this all the time on my TikTok, whether it's murder stories, stories about pedophiles, all types of true crime. And this is just one of those stories that I came across that truly disturbs me to my core. These were 2 normal-seeming parents from Utah. They probably had friends and family that loved and respected them up until they were caught. And it goes to show that you really just don't know anybody. And I'm sure that as more and more details are revealed from this story, it's going to get even more disturbing.
You said hit the nail on the head, man. Like I said, it just seemed like 2 freaking normal people, man, but they were doing the most freaking disturbing acts. So like I said, it's kind of scary how you could just like hide that part of yourself. You could just seem completely normal, but behind the scenes, behind closed doors, you could be a completely different person, man. That's why I said, seekers, you can never trust anybody, bro. That goes for your family, friends, anybody, bro. You gotta learn how to freaking, you know, how to try to spot them out if you can. Make your life a whole lot easier, seekers. Disturbing case.
Ms. Anderson, for the record, would you state your full name, please?
Yes, I am Princess Calipia Hatan Tupac II, representing the entity Dejan Anderson.
You're known as Dejan Anderson?
I'm representing the entity as Dejan Anderson.
Your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
That would make you how old?
That would make me 63 years old.
And the last 4 digits of your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the Indigenous People of the United Nations, Chapter 22, 1593.
She lost.
My address is
Do you have a good contact telephone number?
I don't know my contact number by heart. I believe it.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, including alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
You read and understand English language?
Yes, I do.
If I say something you don't understand, will you let me know?
I will most definitely will.
Sanderson. Officer Busick, who's investigated this, looked for you for the past 2 years. And Prosecutor Hunt have charged you with 3 counts of criminal conduct. Count 1 is murder as a felony. Would indicate that between April the 10th, 2022, and April the 16th, 2022, in Washington County, state of Indiana.
See, because you got someone they zoomed into their hands, but she didn't.
Hot take, not gonna apologize for it. 1v1, a Wolverine would whoop a honey badger. Streets made this aggressive bull cut the face of Black Air Force energy. Whole time the Wolverine's the CEO of Cell Block D tendencies. First of all, they're more than capable of hunting for themselves, but some dudes can't be bothered to get their own bread. Instead, they gotta steal from the baker. And by baker, I mean they'll tax animals like wolves, cougars, even bears. Let me remind you, they're about the size of a medium dog, yet the crackhead Courage can have an overgrown canyon cat backpedaling. And you thought honey badgers were on timing. And they are, but Wolverines, where else are you gonna find a war weasel 2v1ing a pair of wolves? But don't get it twisted, they can hunt, and they are very good at it. They've been known to murk moose by either going after one that's already injured or one stuck in the snow, since felony ferret's like a psychopath with snowshoes. And they'll track you down and run your fate like John Wick. This reindeer was injured and likely bleeding, so the travel-sized bear followed it and delivered smoke directly to the face like a cigarette. They've also been known to eat porcupines, or at least die trying. And you can even find a story of a Wolverine packing up a polar bear. Yeah, it was at a zoo, but that's still a fat W.
Damn.
Wolverines have this really bad habit of whenever they find something that doesn't belong to them, they'll immediately soak it with the smell of death, strong enough to make you cry fresh from its brown eye. A smell so offensive they've been nicknamed Skunk Bear. There have been stories of them breaking into cabins, blowing up the place like a truck stop bathroom, and walking out with like a sock or something. Almost forgot, this walking garbage disposal has rotated molars in the back of its mouth, meaning they can chew through solid bone and frozen meat. I'm sorry, but a motivated skunk monkey is absolutely folding an Oreo-coated temper tantrum, but that's just me.
It truly is, bro. I didn't know Wolverines was like that, man. That makes sense, bro. You know, I guess why they based it on the Wolverine, you know, the freaking character off of it. It's deadly, too.
Sundays after church, when we all just clean through the leftovers, it's like the highlight of my week. I love it so much.
It is. Mom doesn't get mad at us for eating anything.
That and the kids just open up. Like, everyone's pretty relaxed.
The husband of a popular social media.
You saw the way she freaking paused when she said the kids, when the daughter said she doesn't get mad when we eat anything, and she just gave it that look. Like, why the hell you just say that? So they was only eating one time a week. She caught her in 4K. That's why, like, I think that's why she got freaking mad. Because it's freaking got documented. And she, you know, she probably didn't want that to get out secrets. It's the little things, man, the details we got to pay attention to.
The influencer has been charged over the alleged murder of his own mother. Andre Zachary Rebello is in police custody after being charged with one count of murder dating back to May 2020, when the body of his mum was found in a multi-million-dollar home in Perth. The cryptocurrency dealer and business manager is married to model Gracie Piscopo, who has over 1 million Instagram followers. Rebello fronted court on Tuesday and is also facing 35 fraud charges, which allegedly occurred in the months following his mother's death. The alleged offences stem from May to July 2020 and include forgery and attempts to gain a benefit by fraud. Rebello has pleaded not guilty to the alleged financial claims and will face a trial over that matter in December next year. Rebello has not entered a plea on the murder charge and will face court later this year. Andre and Gracie have been dating for 8 years and share a 3-year-old son named Romeo. Gracie's social media accounts were once flooded with photos of her and Rebello, but she has been noticeably absent for most of the past year. Rebello did, however, feature in a video on Miss Piscopo's YouTube account in September. Rebello will face court again on December 21st.
Once again, man, social media can freaking cloud your perception, bro. She posted those pictures, and you think they were the freaking, like, perfect couple, but you didn't know the freaking horrible backstory behind of what the guy did, the husband. It's like, damn, it's like... Social media really freaking changes your perception, bro. Like, you can have a whole fake life online, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's what I've been learning recently, Seekers. Hopefully you guys learn that as well, man. Don't believe anything on the internet. You can't. It's a mirage.
Bryant dropped his guard. He thought they'd stopped recording.
I don't find that very funny statement at all, mate, to be quite honest. Should have put that on record. I'm still recording this present stage, so that is on recording.
If you think the criminal in the video was stupid, you are absolutely correct. The man in the video is Martin Bryant, who despite being 28 years old during the interrogation, had an IQ of 66, equivalent to that of an 11-year-old. His actions, however, were not as innocent. On April 26, 1996, Brian would arrive at Port Arthur and carry out the deadliest massacre in modern Australian history, leaving 35 deceased and 23 others injured. Many believe that his actions were for attention and notoriety, inspired by previous massacres. A neighbor of Brian said that he allegedly told him that he'll do something that would make everyone remember him. Others believe that his motive was to kill a couple, David and Noeline Martin. Brian blamed the couple and believed that they were the reason for his father's depression, which ended up with him taking his own life. After his capture, he was very curious about the total death count and seemed impressed by the number. Australia's most heinous man was given 35 life sentences and 1,652 years in prison.
What's the know all this? He got caught on 4K, man. I'm into that, so he got all those damn life sentences too. He got action-free consequences, man. They said he had an IQ of 66. That's freaking what the hell?
Alright, here are some movies that have scared the shit out of me, and I will never stop recommending them. But be warned, because some of these movies are very violent, very creepy, and just overall, like, what the fuck am I watching type of films. But as always, let's just fucking jump right into it. First up, let's talk about the movie Baskin. This is a 2015 Turkish horror film about 5 policemen who are responding to a distress call coming from an abandoned building. And when they get to the abandoned building, they go inside, and the more that they inspect this building, the more they realize they're entering the literal mouth of hell. The reason this movie freaked me out so much was its overall visuals, but honestly, like, the third act is just so, like, disturbing, and it just makes me feel really gross and weird inside. Like, this movie, I'm not gonna lie, did give me nightmares for a few nights after watching it. If you would like to check this one out, here's the list of where it's currently streaming. Next up, let's talk about The Sadness. This is a Taiwanese horror film about a virus that breaks out, and this virus basically causes people to act out on their most intrusive and, like, violent thoughts. This movie follows a couple who are trying to reunite amongst the fucking mayhem that's going on. The reason that this movie freaked me out was mainly this dude on the very top. Like, he just freaked me the fuck out. This guy just gave me really creepy and, like, pervy vibes, and he has this, like, maniacal laugh that just, like, really freaked me out. Like, I would not want to be chased by this dude, like, whatsoever. Trigger warning though, there is an essay scene, and all I'm gonna say is it involves an eye socket. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But also be warned, this movie is extremely bloody and extremely gory. It's honestly one of the most goriest films that I've seen. And if you'd like to check this one out, here's the list of where this one is currently streaming. Next up is the movie The Similars. This is a Mexican horror film about a group of people in the 1960s who get stuck at a bus station during a horrible freak rainstorm. One by one, each person falls victim to a very unusual seizure, and when they come out of the seizure, they all have the same face of one man that's at the bus station. And they all start to notice that even, like, on the magazines and posters at the bus station, all the people on it have the same face of this man. The reason this movie freaked me out so much was because it's very, like, Twilight Zone-y. Like, things are happening in this movie that should not be happening, but they are happening. And it's just very, like, what the fuck? You could almost categorize this movie as a cosmic horror film, which is, like, my favorite subgenre of horror. I guess you can kind of say this really does freak me out because it's kind of like the fear of the unknown. Like, we don't know why this shit's going down, but it's going down. If you would like to check this one out, here's where this one is currently streaming. And as always, if you guys have seen any of these movies, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.
Some freaking crazy ass moves. Some crazy moves, man, with those freaking devious plots, bro. I ain't checking those out, though. I ain't gonna lie. Those descriptions he gave, you said he was in a horror and he got nightmares, but I believe him, bro. You gotta see this. That ain't me. I ain't checking those out. Seekers, man, that's it for this video for you guys today. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, guys. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, hit that like button, man. Also, follow me on my social medias on there as well, guys, so all the seekers, so we can stay connected. trying to get my numbers up there as well. Like I said, also, man, tell me again, man. Like I said, should I start a Discord so you guys can send me clips, man? I'll do it, but only if you guys like want me to do it. We've gone in April, man. Hopefully I can continue my daily uploads, man. Like I said, I'm still deciding because the things going on behind the scenes that may kind of prevent me from doing the daily uploads, but we're just gonna see how this shakes out. I'm out. You guys gonna catch you in the next one. Peace, seekers.